We're standing at the Elk Street Solar Farm. It's a almost 4 megawatt solar array that was built on what's known as a brownfield. What's unique about this area being a brownfield is this is an area that once was heavily polluted. It had fuel tanks for Exxon here, but this whole area in Western New York was very industrial. In 1967, the Buffalo River was actually reported as dead because there wasn't enough oxygen to put even for fish to live there. But since then, it's been cleaned up. This brownfield has been cleaned up, and we can use the facility here where you can't do much else here to do things like put solar. We build solar, it's about infrastructure. So whether you're building on a brownfield like this or in farmland, for instance, which is sort of known as a greenfield, the advantage of a brownfield is it's an area where we're standing where there's not much else can be built here. So putting solar arrays or other industrial infrastructure can be a great way to reutilize this land. With the thing about greenfields is it's a lot about where you can get the power closer to the end users. So sometimes you have to use those type of facilities. The challenge of the brownfields is often they're more expensive to build on. So you have to make sure you build that into the cost of the projects. One of the challenges we're facing both in New York, but really across the country in the greenfield space is there is pushback, often funded honestly by an ecosystem of fossil fuel companies that are pushing on permitting and other ways to slow down projects. And they're putting out a lot of things that aren't true, honestly, about solar. So we're having to constantly be engaging the community to help them understand, what those systems are going to do and what we can do for the community. One of the things they're doing in Minnesota and they're trying to do here in New York, for instance, on farmland, is they're putting in things like agrovoltaics, which is, for instance, putting a pollinator system under the solar. So we are standing here on gravel, right? But if you were on farmland and you had plants that grew under the solar systems, that could be a home for bees. Farmers actually utilize that and rotate their crops around the system to drive up their yields. So there's really interesting ways that you can build an ecosystem around solar systems, but it takes that forward-leaning policy and thought to do it.